Hello.
What up, though? What up, though? This is Blasian Soul Podcast. We are back. We have a special guest today. We will get to that briefly, but I do believe that my wife has a topic that she would like to briefly discuss before we move to our guest.
I do, but should we do it at the end?
Well, it's up to you. This is your segment, your topic. You go how you want
to go. Let's bring it up at the end because it might go a little bit. Welcome, Mychal.
Mychal Mitchell. I'm an independent film producer. I live in Episde, Illinois, which is near Chicago. Born and raised in Natchez, Mississippi. As a film producer, I'm not a college trained. I'm a self-taught producer. And I've been doing this since 2006 and professionally probably 2009. So.
Wow, that's pretty long. How did you get into the film industry?
Well, when I first moved to Chicago, which was 1983, and the first thing I noticed about Chicago, it looked like a movie set. So I've always wanted to be an actor or in some type of entertainment. And one day I'm watching public access television, and they had a segment on how to make a movie or learn to make a movie. And they had a promotional class for only $50. And I'm thinking, okay, well,
oh, wow.
That beats paying $50,000 for college. I said, okay,
right.
Let me try it. So I signed up, and I've been doing my thing ever since.
That is so awesome. There's your niece, it looks like Bianca, giving you a shout out.
Yeah, that's my boo-boo. Yeah, that's my boo-boo.
Aw, Andrea, good job. Go ahead, cousin. Awesome. Thank you for the shout out. So you took that class and then you just took it from there, huh?
Yeah, and they actually, when you pay the $50, they give you equipment to go out and make your own little projects.
So for just $50.
For $50, they give you $300 worth of equipment. Oh, wait, actually, it's more than that. They give you a lot of equipment to go make your own projects. But with that being only $50, they had limited equipment. So everybody wanted to use it and everybody needed to use it. So eventually what I did, because you have to schedule your turn to use it, I went and bought my own stuff. So the equipment that I have now was better than what they had. So my film etiquette started to improve. So I just went out and bought my own equipment. And I just try to grow a little bit ever since. And that's
awesome.
How do you finance your projects?
Now, that's a good question, Marcelo. It's very difficult. Mostly it's done through sponsors.
Wow.
And it's hard to get sponsorship for these films because when you're established, it's hard. But I reach out to a certain community, one of the best communities that you ever witness, in the Laotian community, in and around Chicago, in Elgin, Milwaukee, Chicago. So a lot of the projects that I work on, I had unpaid cast. So that helped with financing. But I got sponsorship from several businesses in the Chicago land area, whether it was with donations of a car, a house, checks, whatnot. But the hardest part about filming, particularly when you're an independent and you're just getting started, is sponsorship.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of it is from my own pocket, some sponsors locally, and you just try to do the best you can.
Yeah. Well, you made Princess of Laos, which was amazing. Now that I know what you went through to put all that together, it doesn't look like, that it looks really awesome. And you were the head director. Tell us you were the actor, and you were like pretty much put the whole thing together.
Well,
Tell
okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. Share with us a little bit about that project.
Well, the movie started out as I wanted to be a short film.
Mm-hmm.
So it was going to be 30 minutes or 45 minutes long. What happened was, when we first got started, I asked a man who owns a mansion if I could use his house for a scene in Princess of Laos.
Wow.
Just for a day or two. So, and I left him a letter in his mailbox. And before I got home, I told him what I needed. I told him I needed a beautiful home with an extended driveway and a beautiful backdrop in your backyard or in front of your house. I told him what I needed. And when I dropped it off in his mailbox, before I got home, he said, "Come back, take a look at what I got." And that blew me away. So we were shooting at his house, and we were only supposed to shoot there one weekend or 1 or 2 days.
Right.
Turns out this man, who's a millionaire, he let me shoot at his house for 21 days.
Wow.
So that I said, well, if I'm going to get all this luxury, and if you look at the trailer of Princess of Laos, you'll see the house. He let me shoot there for 21 days. And the fact that he let me shoot there even day 2, I said, okay, well, let me take advantage of this.
Wow.
So it started out as a short film, and it went out to be a feature film. Now,
I was watching it all the way in. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was watching it all the way in Michigan when we didn't really, connect yet, because I was living in Michigan.
Okay.
So definitely, I loved it.
Yeah. Well, when I met my wife, she used to tell me that her grandmother had a relationship with the late king. So ever since then, I started calling her my princess.
Aww.
So I wrote a story, which, it's a drama fiction. I wrote a story about a young lady. I built a storyline about a young lady who was looking for her biological father. And unbeknownst to me in the movie, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but she went around looking for her father, and she hired this detective, which I played a detective to help her find her father.
Yes.
For those who haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you.
Right.
But financing, it was pretty much of my own pocket. I got some sponsorship, but it wasn't nearly enough to cover the expenses. But luckily for me, and I brag about this, one of the best things about Princess of Laos, I sold lowest. Well, to put it this way, when you're an independent film producer, you're lucky to sell 200 to 300 DVDs.
Yeah. How many did you end up?
6,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
So 6,000 times the amount that I sold for, we did a really good job.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
And I can look at the sales locations online and where I sent it. It was sent from, we sent movies all the way to Australia.
Wow. So where can they find that now? Where can the audience find The Princess of Laos now if they wanted to watch that movie?
And actually right now, since it's been out for so long, you can watch it for free. It's on Vimeo.
Okay.
Okay. And all you got to do is go to vimeo.com, search Princess of Laos. And there are 2 versions. There are 2 versions. There's an HD version. There's a regular version. If you can, watch the HD version because it's better quality. But they can go to vimeo.com and search Princess of Laos.
Nice. So how did you and your wife meet?
My wife, I won't tell the story that makes her mad. It's a joke. My wife used to work.
My version or yours?
Mychal, I'll tell you later on, man. My wife used to work for a Thai restaurant in Chicago.
Okay.
And at the time, I was working security at IBM building downtown. And her restaurant, which was called Lana Thai, was right next to a fast food restaurant. Now, me being a single guy, when I got off work, I didn't like to cook. I could dibble and dabble in the kitchen, but I didn't like to. So her restaurant was right next to the one that I used to go to. So I said to myself, let me go in there, because she used to sit in the window. So I said, let me go in here and see what this girl got. So, and I wasn't familiar with Thai food, so I would go in there and order something that I didn't even know what I was getting.
Mm.
So, and most of the time, since I didn't know what I was getting, when I tasted it, I didn't like it. So when I got home, I just threw it away.
Oh my gosh.
So I introduced myself to her, and we started talking. So the longer, whatever it took, the longest to cook, that's what I ordered to give me time to kick my game. You know, myself.
Oh wow! Wow.
So I met her at a Thai restaurant, and I asked her 3 times to go out. She refused each time, but eventually she said yes, because I used that Mississippi grammar on her, and she couldn't help it.
Is that what it was?
That slick country grammar.
Is that gonna be her version as well?
No, that's not gonna be her version.
Oh wow!
Their version is always different and more like romantic, soul searching.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be like Martin and Gina. I mean, I don't know if you saw that episode where Martin had one idea and she had a different one. But
wow!
I met her in '88, and she's been my best friend ever since. So 32 years now.
Wow.
Let me just say right now that because we're broadcasting live and we have a pretty good audience, even though we've only done a few of these, let me say that you are amassing a large amount of brownie points with your wife, because the best friend, all of that is going to pay off. Okay. I'm just letting you know that's going to pay off. All right.
Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, I joke around a lot, but you know, she knows it. My mom, my family, my friends. You know, I have 3 really, really good close friends. She tops them all. I mean, it's no secret.
That's awesome. 31 years.
32, actually. 32
years. That must have been rough back then, you know, being in a biracial relationship.
Well, you know, we used to get looks mostly from some women would look, and you know, and they would look like okay, but men would look and say okay. You know, it was. I got both, you know, negative looks, and I got positive looks, and I never entertained anything negative.
Right.
So,
of course. Yeah.
So most people who are not most people who recognize you as being an interracial relationship usually are single.
Right.
And they don't have much to go on. And it doesn't matter what nationality they are. If somebody sees that you are happy and they don't have anybody, that's, you know, that makes, you know, they're unhappy.
Absolutely.
Did you feel any more or that that feeling intensify this past year with, you know, the discord that Black people feel as far as police brutality and the current administration and the White House, and then also Asians because of the pandemic and some entities blaming the Asian community, that both of the races were vilified, so to speak, in this year?
It doesn't even cross my mind, Marcelo. It's especially as far as impacting me.
Okay. Like
Colin Powell said, don't let somebody's opinion of you alter how you view yourself. So it doesn't matter if they did or not. You know, I don't address it as long as they don't verbally attack me or assault me. You know, I'm cool.
Right.
You can go online and you'll see people attacking. I just saw your comment earlier on stop racist attacks against Asians or something like that. Whatever. I don't respond to it. I don't entertain it. And what somebody's view of it, it doesn't affect me. So if somebody said something or did something, my soul, I don't even entertain it. So it didn't affect me, not one bit.
Well, I try to get there. I try to get there where I don't respond. I have a lot of people on my timeline from both parties politically, all different races and cultures, because I've been in business for so long. and I try my best not to. The problem that I have with that is that there's a lot of misinformation that is being generated right now. And a lot of people don't do their research, so they take it as gospel, as truth. So if there's a police shooting or something along those lines, they'll take that misinformation that is untrue and they'll spread it around. So I feel some form of obligation to dispel untruths. Like Malcolm X said, he's for justice, he's for truth, no matter who it's for or against. So if I see somebody put something on social media or somewhere where it can garner attention, I feel I'm doing a disservice if I don't, at least if I'm not correcting them, I'm at least putting out what I've deemed or what I've researched as truth to combat the false lies.
Okay, well, as you know, the saying goes, do you? And Marcella, I applaud you for doing that. But with me personally, if a person believes that the world is flat and you can show them a globe,
and they still won't believe, they're going to believe what they want to believe. Yeah,
I understand that.
They will. They
Chicago,
in their ways.
You went west as far as you can, and you keep going west. If you come back here, you've made a circle. So me trying to convince somebody about facts or truth, wasting my time.
Yeah.
So I applaud those who do. So when it comes to politics and religion, if you look at my page, you'll see I don't talk about them with anybody. You can talk about Obama. You can talk about the current administration. It's common knowledge that you can look at a person and tell what they're about.
Exactly.
If you can tell if a person is lying over and over and over. Me personally, and I don't draw party lines. I choose people over party.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm neither Democrat nor Republican.
Yeah, I voted Democrat most of my life, all of my life, I guess. But but I'm not opposing to a Republican being in office. So I take people over party. So if a man wants to vote Republican, bro, do you?
Right.
If you go to a temple or you go to a mosque to worship, do you?
Right.
So I try to keep my my mind fast forward on what I believe, and I don't try to persuade anybody anything different.
Absolutely. Speaking of fast forward, let's fast forward to
nice transition.
Where you like that? Let's fast forward to where you are today. This Laos Redemption movie, where you're at with the project. Tell us a little bit about that and what it's about, so our guests can learn a little bit more about that. First,
let me give some more credit and shout outs to the Laotian community for the 10,000th time. And I'll say this over and over and over again. The Laotian community put me on the map as far as a film producer.
Nice.
And I've been doing film projects, and I'm toning and honing my skills, which is going to set up my big project, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. But the Laos Redemption, I talked about this movie 6 years ago with people like Curly Pham from California.
Shout out to Curly.
Curly, I mean, his company is a sponsor for it.
Nice.
But we spoke about this film when he saw Princess of Laos, and he met me for the first time. He thought I was a celebrity, and got excited, and he said, "Man, I want to be in your next film." And I said, "Okay, well, it's going to be." I didn't know what the title was going to be then, but I said, "I'm working on something," and that was even before Princess of Laos was fully completed. But the Laos Redemption, the synopsis is about 5 deep cover federal agents, Laotian agents, going undercover to find out who authorized the excessive bombings in Laos during the Vietnam War. And one of the phrases in the movie, and one thing that you know about the war, that it was supposed to be a secret.
Yes.
So the 5 agents who are undercover, they said that this war is not a secret to us. So it's just a secret to many. So they expose what happened with the excessive bombing. As you know, there were more bombings in Laos during the Vietnam War than there were in 2 major wars. So somebody had to approve that.
Yeah.
So I wrote the script, but I redirected it, the plot, after Barack Obama went to Laos. So after I wrote it in a certain way, but after he went over there, I said, let me throw in some Obama twists. And then I went online and found an Obama impersonator, and the dude killed it.
Which is amazing. That dude is amazing.
Yes.
Okay?
And I just texted him. I wanted him to pop in, but he didn't text me back. So maybe we have to get him in on a later date. But
yeah, that'll be fine. Close to the launch. We can
yes, we'll get him back.
Awesome. Yeah, we were amazed by how much he looked like Obama.
And I had 3 to 4 people to choose from. Another guy who was a good Obama impersonator, but Luis Ortiz, he's called himself Bronx Obama. He had a more slimmer, serious look. And he walked like Barack. He talked like him. He did the gestures. You wait till you see it. I mean, it's just awesome.
Wow, I can't wait.
Yeah, he is. He can walk into a bank with no ID and
right. He can walk out with a bank full of money.
Yeah, it was amazing. That was amazing.
He nailed it.
Yeah, because when I reposted it, people actually thought it was Obama.
It was Obama. They said, "Oh no, you got Obama, man!
You got Obama on the exactly."
But he looked the part. He did the part. So he's actually from New York, but we flew him in from Florida. He lives in Florida now, and he came in and we did 2 days of shooting, and he nailed his part. He did it really good.
Wow. Oh, so he flew in. You filmed here in Chicago. Yeah,
we flew him in, and he stayed at a hotel. As a matter of fact, one of the sponsors is a Margarita Inn Hotel, which is here in Evanston. When they found out who was coming, and when they saw him, they said, "Here, Michael, this is what we're going to do." And I didn't ask them. They just found since you're going to shoot in here, we're going to give him 2 free nights to stay at the hotel. So that saved me some money right there. So I consider them a sponsor. If they donate 2 free rooms, breakfast and all that, just for the publicity, it was a winner.
Right.
That's awesome.
So it was great. And since real quickly, while we're on sponsorship, goes back to your question as far as Lao Redemption. I've gotten hundreds of dollars. I've gotten thousands of dollars from sponsors for many projects. I have yet to receive. I sent out a request for one person or one sponsorship, and it was with White Tiger Distillery. And you guys may know him, and I forget his first name, but he's White Tiger Distillery. He's in the Washington, D.C. area. I sent him a request. So I told him what I was doing, told him about the movie, and I told him what we would like to have. Within 2 hours, he contacted me back. He said, "Where can I send you a check?"
Wow.
And I'm going to get my wife to look up his name because I'm going to give him a shout out. Joanna, can you look him up for me, honey?
That is awesome. Yeah, and you've just been really blessed with this movie. Yeah,
well, and things just fall in line. I contacted again and again, Elgin community, who always pop up, show out whenever I request some backup dancers, actors, singers, artists. They show up, and many of them do it without requesting any funds.
Exactly.
Okay. Matter of fact, when we shot in Elgin the first day, I offered several people payment for helping me get this project done. Everybody refused.
Yeah.
And we're talking about over 15 people, 20 people, and I was supposed to pay them. They all refused it. But what I did do, because the kids were there and I know they were impatient, I want to encourage them. We put the kids on payroll for that shoot. The movie, it's about 5 deep cover federal agents who go undercover to find out who authorized the excessive bombings. I'm way behind as far as the ending. I'm editing it right now. And because of the lack of funds, Marcelo, we didn't get like we wanted. I have to edit myself. I have to do color correction myself. I have to do sound design myself. All of that. I did location. I did casting. So I had to do all of that. And normally you're talking about minimum 15 to 20 people that's on a film set that's helping at a given time. And I'm doing it with 2 and 3.
Wow.
So I'm doing the work of 15 to 20 people, and it's just 2 or 3 of us. So the scheduling is the hardest part. So right now, we're still behind as far as production, but I wish I could show you some clips, but it looks good.
Nice. So if somebody wanted to sponsor, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to my Vimeo page, and I spell my name, as you can see, Mychal at North Shore Films. My email address is worldbefree323 and I'll spell it WORLDBEFREE323 You can reach out to me there, or my Facebook page, Mychal Mitchell, or North Shore Films. And we're still accepting sponsorship, especially since the movie's not out yet. But Joanna, did you look it up? Okay, why don't you come in here, because I'm trying to read in
from there. You see how sleep I am?
Okay, I got it now. The owner of a White Tiger Distillery it's Sarah. How do you pronounce his last name? Unarath. So it's Sarah Unarath of White Tiger Distillery. He's going to be really, really surprised at how I pay tribute to White Tiger.
That is awesome.
He's going to be really, really surprised. And like I said, I've never received a sponsorship within 2 hours after requesting. Usually it take months, weeks.
Yeah.
This guy, he owns this distillery, and he's obviously Laotian. He responded with sponsorship within 2 hours after sending it out. So it just blew me away.
That is amazing. And I know that, we have a lot of the Asian community, the Lao community also watching the show. So if anyone is watching right now, if you're in like the film industry, would you be open to like any help to do any of the sound or the things that you have to catch up on? Or
Absolutely. Sound design, I'm going to save it for last. I'm doing color correction right now.
Okay.
I'm doing sound design. If anyone, Lone and Lisa's son, Landon is maybe want to help. You never know, but I'm doing sound design. But I'm 90% done with the whole film.
Wow.
So
awesome.
It's just a matter of connecting all the dots, and then we're going to shop with Netflix and see what happens.
That's a good move, Netflix. That's a good move.
That's what we're shooting for, Netflix.
Yes.
So do you have any other projects that you're thinking of? I have an idea. I was going to run it by you, but I don't want to say it on the podcast because then somebody's going to take my idea who got some money. Yeah. And they're going to
millionaire, and you sitting here still talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It is true history, but it's very suspenseful for it to be true history. But I'll talk to you about that on the side. But is there any other projects that you're thinking of right now after your current one is completed?
Well, I'm also subcontracted to do 2 projects right now. One of them is regarding reparations. There's a film producer in New York, and I've already shot some stuff for him already. He's doing a documentary about reparations and how it's going to benefit us. And for y'all that don't know, Evanston, Illinois, which is where I live, was one of the first towns in the country to approve reparations.
Wow.
So he's doing a documentary on the process.
Okay.
And then there's another gentleman who's a lawyer on the south side of Chicago, Arnold O'Toole. He's doing a short film. We start filming that next month. But the major project that I'm hoping that's going to put me on the map even more is about a tragic incident that happened in my hometown of Natchez, Mississippi. It's about a club called the Rhythm Nightclub and back then the Rhythm Nightclub was like the Cotton Club,
right,
for the South.
Right.
It wasn't a glamorous place by any means, but it was a place where everybody went to see live, good jazz music.
Okay.
So a true story is that they invited a man by the name of Walter Barnes, who worked for Al Capone, who played for Al Capone. They invited him to Natchez, Mississippi to perform. An hour into his performance, and here quickly, they decorated. This was a big event, so they decorated the place with Spanish moss. And Spanish moss is that dry leaflet that hangs from the trees down south. So they decorated the place with Spanish moss. And prior to him coming there, people used to sneak into the club. So the owner boarded up all of the windows and all the doors. So there was one way in and one way out. This is a true story, and I wrote it.
Wow.
And that's going to take some mega bucks to get done. So after I'm done with Laos Redemption, I'm going to surge my emphasis on getting it done. So when Walter Barnes came down, an hour into the performance, over 700 people attended the club, and it held 200. So I think 300 of them got in. So an hour into the performance, I say again, the place caught on fire.
Wow.
And back then, or that particular place, the door opened inward. So when the place caught on fire, the roof the door opened, the people were trying to get out, pushing the door inward to get out, and people were pushing the back of them so they couldn't get there. So over 200 people died in a small town.
Wow.
Similar to the E2 nightclub event that happened here in Chicago.
I remember that. Yes.
Very similar.
Oh,
and the E2 club, they chained up the door so nobody could get out. So the owner then, he was charged with that. So the owner of the Rhythm Nightclub, he actually died of a heart attack in the parking lot of that place, outside the fire.
Wow.
So that when that happened, they changed building codes throughout the nation. You cannot have any kind of commercial building where the door opens inward. Everything moves out from that point on. So I'm trying to get every famous Mississippian that I can in that movie, including Morgan Freeman, a guy from my hometown, Alexander O'Neill, Brandy, she's from Mississippi, David Banner, even considered Brett Favre. I mean, he's from Mississippi. So, I mean, I had him playing a fireman. So it's a whole lot of famous Mississippians that I would like to get in that movie. So, and that's next, if I can get eventually get done with the Laos Redemption.
Okay. Everybody hear that? We need some help here.
That's right.
Sponsors, help.
Have you thought about putting together like GoFundMe pages for these specific events?
Oh, or Kickstarters.
I thought about it, but I just didn't feel comfortable asking people for money. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it.
I'll ask for you.
Yeah, well, you
because I won't either, but she will. Believe it.
I just felt uncomfortable doing it. I never did. If there's a company that is sitting right over there, car dealership, I feel more comfortable to say, and I say that Mr. Perillo, Joe Perillo here in Chicago, can I get $500? I'm doing it. I'd rather do that.
Right.
Yeah, but that's how my brother got his book sponsored. He went through Kickstarter. His book, The Sticky Mess. He raised $10,000, and Kickstarter is kind of like a program where you could propose your idea, artistic ideas, and there's sponsors that will donate. But what you do is you provide them with something in return, like you'll get a copy of the movie, or you'll get credit in the end, something like that. And a lot of people are open to that.
Oh, well, you know what, Marcel, I may have to hire your wife as my Kickstarter CEO coordinator.
There you go. I got you, Michael.
I'll invoice you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I hadn't never thought about it, but I mean, it's not out of the question, I guess.
Awesome.
All right. I always throw a curve with my questioning to all our guests. This one, though, I've been asking most frequently, but I always phrase it in the form of what the guest's specialty or speciality is. So, for you, give me the fine points if someone contracted you to do a movie about Donald Trump. Give me a couple of high points and a couple of low points that you feel would need to be told in that story.
Man, that's a curve, a knuckleball, and a slider. Oh my goodness!
How did you think that one up?
Man, that's a curve.
Well, I always try to frame the question in the form of whatever our guest's expertise is. I had a lawyer on last week, and I drilled her with some questions as well.
Oh, her?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. What do you think?
Rephrase it again so I can.
Okay. So you get a call. Someone says that they want you to do an impartial movie about Donald Trump. They're paying. There's no budget per se because they want this done, and they want it done by someone who is more grassroots than the big name movie producers. He tasks you with this, and his, I guess his only criteria is that you give him some points that are for and points that are against. Because as you know, with any story about a person or a person's life, there's highs and lows that you usually try to get out to kind of familiarize yourself with the character, make them feel or get that empathy for the character. So what would be a couple of high points and low points that you would feel that you should target?
Well, I don't usually do politics, Marcelo, but we're here now. I'm going to go ahead and share.
Well, that's why I said good and bad. I don't want it to seem like you're being pulled in one way.
Well, first of all, you would have to get an actor who can portray him and make you think you're looking at him. Okay, like I did with Obama.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really difficult to find anything to say good about the current administrator guy in office. I'm saying that he took politics to a level even other politicians can't even accept.
Very true.
I mean, most politicians say, "I'll give you, I promise you, 2 cars in every garage and a chicken in every pot." Back, right. Roosevelt, whoever it was. Mm-hmm. He went even farther beyond that by looking you right in your eye, mm-hmm. and telling you that you're not African American and you're not Asian.
Right.
And people will believe it.
Right.
And here's what about that administration. He'll say something to you or to his believers, and it kind of Marcelo, it kind of reminds me of Jim Jones. You remember Jim Jones, the preacher?
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jim Jones said, "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light."
Right.
And the people believed it.
Mm-hmm.
And with the current administrator, this guy has been fighting a rape charge.
Yes.
Of a teen.
Yes.
And people still back him.
Yes.
So, I mean, he goes off on the deep end, and I think a lot of them subconsciously don't want to admit that something's wrong with him, but they're so far into it now, and they think that the other party is going to say, "See, I told you so."
Right.
If my president had done some of those things, I would just walked away. I just wouldn't even vote.
Right.
Now, I don't get into, if you like the man, more power to you.
Of course.
But I could do a movie about him, and it would be more factual, and I wouldn't sugarcoat anything. I mean, all the things that he's done, and the followers that follow him and believe, they say Trump, whatever. I mean, just recently the man said, or his office said, or he said, "It's a blessing that I caught COVID."
Right.
Mm.
You think about that. They said Joe Biden doesn't have the experience to handle COVID. I had COVID, so I know how to handle it. He's selling, and people are doing this when it comes to, and I don't hear what I don't hear nothing bad about it. Just vote. Yeah. But I don't get into, politics, but I could do a movie, and the good about anything good about him, That section of the movie, if it was 2 hours, would be about 2 minutes.
Oh no.
That's
I hear
movie.
that. I hear
2
that.
minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm not prejudiced. I'm not, but I would put his wife as president before him.
Right.
And and his supporters, and I'm not saying all, his supporters will be in a McDonald's getting food from McDonald's, and somebody will speak Spanish. And his supporter will say, "Why don't you learn to speak English?"
Yeah.
And here it is, the first lady of the United States can barely hold a conversation in English.
Right.
So, and if any one of the Laotian people are ever confronted by someone's telling you to learn how to speak English, I got the perfect response. If somebody tells you, an Asian person, to learn how to speak English, the response should be, "Why should I speak English? I don't live in England."
Very true.
They don't know. They wouldn't know how to respond. I don't need to speak English. I don't live in England.
Right.
I'm speaking American.
Right.
And our language happens to be English. And the English language that we speak was taken from England. So it ain't even ours.
Right.
So if anybody says, learn to speak English, just say, "Why should I speak English? I don't live there."
Right.
And let that simmer on and let them just walk away from it. But I could do a movie, 2-hour movie on Donald Trump and his presidency. And what people don't realize, he's not the only one.
No, you're right.
So he's got a lot of supporters, whether they are a puppet or not.
Right.
He has a lot of supporters. So if you vote for him, man, more power to you.
Right. Right.
But as Dr. Martin Luther King said, we can all live together as a community, or we can perish as fools.
Right.
The way he's running his administration, we're going to perish.
Right.
And he'll do anything to stay in office, including fake COVID.
Yes, I
He'll
agree.
fake COVID. So I don't know. That's
Good
that.
answer. I like that answer. I like that.
Yeah.
Very informative. I like when people expound on the question that I give them. So good job. We are nearing the end, so we try to give a couple of minutes to our guests to let them know once again who you are, your company. Once again, if they would like to sponsor this movie or the project coming up, where would they go? We will also post that link or that email address. But the floor is yours. Let them know what you want them to know.
And your family is involved too. We would love to meet your wife and your daughter.
Princesses.
They're around.
I got 2 of them.
And full disclaimer, me and my wife was in one of your movies.
You are.
Yeah.
You're in our redemption.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be famous soon.
Hey, that was a surprise.
Vivian, come down, baby. Here's my princess.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, sweetie.
Good. How are you?
I'm
Welcome,
good.
welcome. I'll have to hear your version of how you met next offline.
No.
She's probably I was on the street begging, and she took me in or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. We always are the butt of the joke when they tell it.
He tried hard and hard. He asked me 1,000 times until I give up.
Okay. So first it was 3. Now it was 1,000 times.
Believe me, a month.
Oh, wow.
So what made you finally give in?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I told her I was rich. That's why.
Will you rent a car?
Yeah, I rented a Porsche, a Lamborghini. And those I forgot those things they have on Facebook, the pranks. But yeah, I got her.
No, you didn't. I was in class then at work at my friend's mom restaurant, Thai restaurant. So he used to come here every day, constantly. Just order ice cream or whatever he wants to order and keep on asking, me out like 1,000 times. So I just give him a chance.
I did. She did. She said no quite a few times, and I said, okay.
Hey, see how you get treated? You was just on here talking about she your best friend, she the love of your life, and she just going at you full steam.
Well,
Laura, you know how it is, right?
she's actually
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's. He was in here telling us how You are the love of his life, his best friend. He couldn't go on without you. Like on the Titanic, he would let you on the board and he would freeze.
Yeah.
All of that. And you know what I'm saying? You came on here and was like, he got on my nerves long enough. So I said, yeah.
Yeah, she gave in.
What?
32 years later after that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 2 beautiful daughters.
Yes.
And Vivian.
Hi.
And our daughters, we call them Laofricans.
Okay.
Laofricans. And they have Laofrican names. This is Vivian Campew Malawi Mitchell.
Oh, wow.
And my oldest daughter, who was the princess and princess of Laos, her name is Tabitha Sutra Botswana Mitchell. So a Laos name and African American or African name.
Let me just throw out there that when she was pregnant with Carmelo, my initial name, I wanted an African name. I wanted Osiris.
Yeah, oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Strong name. She would not let me do it. So we just changed Marcelo around till we got to Carmelo. But for a quick second, Carmelo was Osiris.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a nice name.
So I threw in that African name. This is Camp Malawi, and the other one is Botswana. So and obviously Suchada is her given name, Suchada.
Nice.
And Tabitha Campew is my mother-in-law's name. So I wanted their names to reflect their heritage. So this is a Blasian couple, Blasian family.
Blasian couple.
But I like the term Laofrican better because of Laos and Africa.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, I do. I like that. That's pretty cool.
I never heard of Laofrican. That's good. I know that my girlfriend her husband is Puerto Rican, so she calls her kids, what is it? Laurican or something. Laurican.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I posted on the Laos is a Country page at least 15 different ethnicities that were combined as a multicultural. Mm-hmm. I think for Puerto Rican, I put Laurican.
Oh,
that's what I said, Laurican. And depends on how it rolls off of your mouth. That's how you say it. You could put Puerto Lao. You know what I'm saying? It depends. Mm-hmm. And there's no right or wrong answer.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, it's until Webster acknowledges it, there's no right or wrong answer. But
exactly.
Right. And it's whatever you choose to identify yourself as.
And we're Africans. And the reason I say African because like you have Blasian, Africa identifies the country.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Blasian does more of the color. So there's no right or wrong answer. I just like African.
Yeah, and a lot of I have a lot of friends who think like that as well. I guess the reason why I identify myself as Black is because we have been away from our mother country for so long.
Yeah.
That even though we still internalize what is African in nature, on the outside and culturally and things like that, because we've been away for so long, it's almost like we've developed our own. So we're almost a nation within a nation, so to speak. Right. So that's why I kind of identify with Black, because things like hip hop and jazz and things like that, even though the initial constructions of those type of arts come from Africa, we've changed them here. We've made them more of our own, so to speak.
Right.
So I think Black is almost a nation within a nation.
And like I said, Marcelo, there's no right or wrong.
Sure.
Way to say it or identify yourself.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Something that a lot of people don't know. I'm an author.
Oh.
What's the name of your book?
I wrote a book called Backbone.
Oh, we'll have to find it. Where can we find that?
At Amazon.
Nice.
And that book is about, I wrote that probably, I think I wrote it before I met her.
Wow.
It's about Black women. It's called Backbone. It's about Black women, what role they play inside the family, both politically, economically, and socially. And it's available on Amazon. You can look up Backbone by Mychal Mitchell. And
we're going to have to get that.
That sounds, that's very intriguing.
You're multi-talented.
Yeah. Black woman. That is a good topic, without a doubt.
So, and people ask me about how did I write a book about Black women when I'm married to an Asian. The book is not about love. It's not about who you should marry.
Right.
I married her because, as I said, I fell in love with her as my best friend.
Absolutely.
But the book is about Black women, and it compliments them in the most utmost way. I mean, because I was raised by some beautiful
I was about to say, your mom, maybe sisters, aunts, cousins.
Yeah, they define who I am as a person.
Absolutely.
And I met my wife. You know, I met her, and we just click. We just click.
Yeah, it's your soulmate. You can't stop who your soulmate is going to be. I met him 3 times.
Yeah.
Same place.
See? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you on. I was going to do one of our.
Well, we have to have dinner sometime.
I met him 3 times. I didn't even know it was him.
One of our podcasts is going to be on
dating, picking up.
Yeah. Black. I get asked that a lot. A lot of people say, first they say something like, you're a successful, educated Black man, and that's all subjective. First of all, successful is definitely subjective, but
yeah, it's how you look at it, right?
Right. But you have a beautiful wife, beautiful family, but you couldn't find a Black woman to marry or to share whatever you've accumulated or whatever the case may be. So I might have you on. What I wanted to do is get some people on live that would foster questions, but a lot of people don't like to be on live because they feel like they're going to be ridiculed and things like that. So we might just have them chime in like they're doing now in the comment section, and then we answer questions accordingly. But that is one that I hear all the time, or I hear even more so. And once again, this is subjective. People say you're pro-Black, Marcelo, or you know what I'm saying, in that vein, so to speak, even though I don't know what pro-Black is, but you're in that vein with your commentary and social media and things of that nature. So how are you so pro-Black if you got an Asian woman on your arm? So I get that stuff all the time. So you can load up your shotgun too and help me when I do this podcast, because I have a feeling that although very respectful in nature, we're going to get a lot of questions across the board on why we made the choices that we've made.
God made the choice.
Yeah, we were put together.
Yeah, well, we made the choice.
This is the first.
Bringing me back to you.
This is the first Asian woman I've ever dated. She's
dying to tell her story. I'm gonna let her do that one day on this podcast because, like you said, her rendition, she got like a glowing. It's just her version.
With petals and
you glowing. You had an aura about you, and I'm like, oh, now it's getting scary. It's getting weird now. So yeah, she has her own thought process on it.
I had no idea we dated before.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it at that.
Yes.
Thank you very much for taking the time out. Very informative. One of the reasons why we started this podcast is because a friend of ours, actually family, we had a discussion, and one of the things that they pointed out was that there aren't a lot of Black role models for kids to look up to, and that's one of the problems with the Black community, which I strongly disagree with. You don't have to be famous to be a role model, number one. So I wanted to go about not just Black, but minorities in general, people that we do consider role models and can look up to, and you can reference this as basically I wanted to show them that they were false in their assumption. And you guys are helping with that, so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. If we do this podcast about this topic, there are some people who think that they should marry, or I don't like anybody telling me who I should marry.
No doubt.
My parents were smart. They raised a good person, and I had 2 of them. They taught me about life, love, the Bible, everything you need to know. So I wouldn't even I'll respond to as best I can about, interracial relationships. But if somebody has a problem with it, you would think, they appreciate things that Barack Obama have done. And I would say, well, would you say that to his mother and father?
Right.
If you don't like the fact that we're interracial, would you say that to his parents?
Right.
Or would you just say it to us because we're none in the spotlight?
Right. And I believe that the podcast is more, in my opinion, to educate the uninformed. If you have a racist or cultural bias, and that is just you, that is ingrained in you, there's nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
So just go watch the podcast.
Yeah.
But if you have questions, or if you're unsure, or you want to ask questions so that you can be informed, then we can talk. I have no problem communicating with someone and letting them know. I have these conversations all the time where I've had coworkers ask me, do black people really get pulled over that much, or do they blow it out of proportion? What's your take on it? I don't see that as disrespectful. I see that as a person that is generally inquisitive.
Inquiring mind.
Yeah. And it's just a chance to educate, our audience on the different viewpoints, right? Because he's at work all the time and he hears little conversations going on all the time. Yeah. They don't know he's in the office, but they have cubicles and he can hear them talking about Black people.
Right. I'm a manager, so they try to hush up sometimes when I come into the room or walk to the break room or something like that. But and it wasn't necessarily in a disrespectful manner.
Right.
It's just, did you see him tearing up downtown Chicago? Little comments like that. Them
people
is what strikes me sometimes. But like I said, as a Black man, I put the information out there. You choose to do what you want to with the information I provide.
Yeah. Well, some people, like what you're talking about, they're just not aware.
Yeah, not educated enough.
In one sentence, they're watching, say, for the Cubs game. Go Javier, home run, hit that home run. But when Javier, the lawn care provider, it's next door to you, it's a whole new different thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The same Javier. Right. One is playing professional baseball and one is struggling trying to make ends meet for his family.
Sure.
And they do that.
Yeah.
So, I understand what you're saying. Those type of people you can reach with common sense and talking. But there's some you're wasting your time, man.
Yeah. You can't reach everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're wasting time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. I cannot wait for updates. Hopefully this show opened up some help for you. And we'll talk offline about the Kickstart and see what we can do to help you move this along, because it's a powerful movie and I can't wait to get it in the hands of everybody. So
yeah, it's gonna be a good film. Yeah. Hopefully if Netflix accepts it, it'll be the first Lao film that I've seen or heard about on Netflix. Yes. I don't know. We'll see.
We will. We're going to claim it right now.
Let's do it.
We're claiming it.
It
out. We're going to claim it's going to be on Netflix.
Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Thank you
guys. You guys are the best.
All right. See you guys later.
We'll be in touch.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So thank you, audience. So I just have.
You gonna go through it now? Or
you know what?
Do you want to wait to have more time?
No, I just want to say it.
She heated right now. She's like, no, I want to get this off my chest.
It's not that I'm heated, but just, it kind of transitions to this topic because of what we just talked about with Mychal. Some people are really closed-minded.
My tea.
But you know what? Sometimes, Andrea says, kudos, cousin, for sharing your story, being transparent with your life choices. True visionary. Yes, he is. He is amazing, which is why you do so well. Arts, movie, and literature. Yes. And we're going to bless that movie right now. It's going to go on Netflix. It's going to be the bomb. But yeah, so last night, so I had a moment, you guys, last night. And I usually don't really pay attention to these different things because I know people can be very close-minded. but I'm part of this group called, what is it called? Something about stop the racism against Asian, you know, since the pandemic and it being called the Chinese virus. We've seen a lot of attacks. It's on the rise of Asian people, including myself. I won't go into details, but I've had something similar done to me because of this whole pandemic thing, being out in public and somebody shushing me away because I was Asian. They didn't want me to. Anyways, and that's not the point that I want to bring up. There is a Facebook group that is called Stop the Violence Against Asians. And so they posted this one last night when I saw this, and they posted this about this guy that attacked this woman, and I crossed off some of the things because I want to have kind of the privacy of the person. I don't want to show them out, but there was this old lady that got brutally attacked by a black man, but he could be other race. He just, to everybody, so to them, to the public, to the media, he's a black man. So I'm just wondering how a black man that caused this criminal act, which is horrible, by the way. If somebody did that to my mother, wow. It's just amazing, like how somebody would do that to the poor lady. She was like 70 years old. But I don't know how all of that was categorized with, oh, he's a Black Lives Matter. Like, how do people associate a race with a movement, BLM? So all these comments that were targeting this post was, oh, please tell, and showing this to those who've been standing with Black Lives Matter, it's despicable to do this. Yes, it's really despicable for someone to do this. You know, oh, they're hiding in their caves. You know, it's and then and when we have people like this guy, like they're just all over the place. Oh, and then the typical racist reply, oh, you probably don't have Black friends. Oh, I have a couple of cousins, or a couple of cousins are probably married to the family. But yeah, so my thing is, how did this one guy get tied to a BLM movement just because he looks Black or he is Black, but he could be another race? So that was really, really, like, it just kind of did something to me, especially because, you know, it was on a anti-racist group. And to see that some of the comments that were made in this group tied back to some of the people that I knew, people that I knew of, and you know, and so it was just like, wow, like, really? Because, you know, it just did something to me personally, on a personal note, because I know that some of our Lao community is a little closed-minded when it comes to race and all of this, because I was a victim of being bullied back in high school for dating a Black guy, and I was called all sorts of sluts and you nigger lover, and getting prank calls at home because I dated outside my race. It's so much better now, but it just brought back all these different emotions of, seriously, like, people just grow up. Like, I don't know, the bias needs to just, you know, stop. And I would love to be able to educate them if they want to come on the show and educate me. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they're feeling some kind of way. Maybe I'm missing something, but whatever it is, I don't know.
All right, let me give my 2 cents on this subject right quick. All right, first of all, let's start with the act itself. I don't care if you're white, Black, Puerto Rican, green, purple, whatever the case may be. If a man puts his hands on a woman, he is absolutely 100% wrong. Period.
Yes,
I don't give a
damn
what's going on. Secondly, if you put your hands on a older woman,
yes,
you're even worse of an offender. There's some fellas that need to show you, if you want to get that off your chest, I'm quite sure you can find somebody that's a man to get that aggression off your chest. Now, moving forward, the association with Black Lives Matter is going to happen with anyone
that's black that committed a crime.
No, let me finish my statement. Anyone who is black and does anything that is outside of the norm. Just like the killings in Chicago, people always bring that up on social media. Well, y'all talking about Black Lives Matter and y'all killing each other and things of that nature. One is not all inclusive of the other, which means that both of them can be a huge problem. And because you are championing one cause does not mean that you don't empathize and champion the other cause.
Absolutely.
One at a time. Around social media, there's a meme that's basically saying if your neighbor's house is on fire, everybody pitches in and they put out that fire. They don't say, well, what about my house? And what about this house? Your house ain't on fire right now, Playboy. So everyone pitches in to achieve a common goal. Black Lives Matter is two things, actually. Black Lives Matter is an organization.
Not a black person.
Well, no. Once again, let me finish my thought. Black Lives Matter is an organization.
Right.
Okay? Now, you can support that organization and the steps they take to champion their cause, or you might not follow them. That's your choice. For the most part, I think they're doing a bang-up job as far as trying to get the message out. You don't necessarily put the rioters in Black Lives Matter's organization together because there's some people out there that just want to go out and do damage. That's their that is their answer to things that's going on. Martin Luther King said, violence, rioting is the voice of the unheard. So there's something to be said for that as one. But two, Black Lives Matter is a movement as well. So I don't have to be a member, a card-carrying member of Black Lives Matter to be for the Black Lives Matter movement, which is something totally different, which is a thought process, which is why we have people protesting in other countries. They're not part of Black Lives Matter, the organization. They're part of Black Lives Matter, the movement, which is something that I think everyone of every color should be for. And no one's saying that black people are better than anyone else. What we're saying is that in many situations, we are not treated equally as we would any other American that's walking around. So because we see that disparity, and we've been seeing that disparity forever, if you don't believe it, go back and listen to music, which is a form that black people use to the utmost to tell the story of what's going on right now. From R&B to blues to jazz to hip hop, this problem has been spoken, countless times. So it's not something that just happened or because Obama was president. The only difference really right now is that everyone has a high definition camera on their waist. So when something happens, instead of listening to what the cops say or what maybe a bystander would say, you have footage of what happened. So therefore, it looks like, oh man, this is a problem that just started. This problem has been around for a long time, before I was born, and it continues to be a problem. So, coming back to that meme, on a multitude of different reasons, that meme is horrible. That man should be found, he should be prosecuted, and deal with the other cats in prison if you want to get some aggression off and see how that worked out for you. As far as the responses are concerned, we've seen more than ever with Trump being president that before people had racist thoughts and opinions, but they would not share them for fear of shame. But what I believe this administration has done is made them more comfortable coming out with their truths. And that's what we see now on social media. Number one, it's not immediate. You're not in front of me. I'm not in front of you. I can say what I want, and there's very little chance of us ever meeting up for there to be consequences of that. And your commander in chief and everyone that he's put in positions of power, for the most part, don't condemn those thoughts. So it gives them it empowers them to say what they truly want to say. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a bad thing that you think like that, but it's a good thing that I know you think like that now. So there's a way that I will approach you or handle you now that's different because of that knowledge. So I didn't want to take that much time. I was rambling, but we will do a podcast concerning this. I have some thoughts as far as this whole, I guess, concentration of new racism, so to speak. We need to discuss that. But in getting back to that meme, you know, you'd have to be a fool, whether you white, Black Lives Matter, KKK, I don't care who you are. You should condemn acts of violence like that.
Exactly.
Let us not forget that it wasn't too long ago that Emmett Till, which was a child, was beaten to undescribable. His face was just undescribable, and that wasn't that long ago. So let's be sure that no matter what your opinion is, no matter what you believe, violence of that nature, especially to a woman, should be condemned wholeheartedly by everyone.
Yes, I agree. And I just, I just really hope that our platform can educate. We're not trying to switch anybody from what they believe, but just educate and promote more love and more unity in our communities. So that is what we are all about, guys. Thank you so much for all of the comments. All of you, we love you. Everyone who has commented, all the support that you guys have given. Without you, we could not have done this.
All right, I got it.
This this is what our fourth week doing this. We're gonna continue to do some more. I'm
gonna start monetizing this. I'm gonna tell y'all eventually. Now I'm not gonna sell out. Y'all ain't gonna see ads running through about male erectile dysfunction or some craziness so we can get paid. But I have a few business. Well, me and my wife have a few businesses. We'll be promoting those. We'll be promoting other businesses. Like I said, send me your business. Send me the information for your business.
And we're looking for guest speakers too.
Well, next week I want to do something different. I'm trying to
introduce your next week's.
Yeah, I'm trying to get one of my. I was going to say one of my college friends, but to be honest, he is family. So he is a retired petty officer with the Navy. I believe he was in the Navy 20 plus years. And I do this for twofold. Number one, when I say that I want to promote role models, minority role models, that is a role model. To defend the country for 20 plus years, that is something to be congratulated. That is something to be celebrated. At the same time, to do it with some of the disadvantages that Black people still have is even more courageous. You are, protecting everyone's freedom. You are abiding by the code of whatever military institution you're with, but you still know that everything is not equal. That's to me, that's a telling story. And to do it as a quote unquote lifer, 20 plus years is something that I would like to delve into. On top of that, the Kaepernick thing with whether or not kneeling is a disrespect to a military person. I don't think we can get a better, more qualified person than someone that was in the military for that amount of time. And what his thoughts are on kneeling and the administration right now, considering that when he was in the Navy, that was truly his commander in chief. So I think it'll be interesting. It would be good to get out there that it's not just business professionals or professionals that have doctor PhDs, but it's also people who contribute to how you live your life every day, whether it's protecting, whether it's a fireman, policeman, a military officer. These are people who, in the grand scheme of things, you really don't appreciate until you need to appreciate it. So that's who I would like to have on there. He has agreed. We just have to put together all the minute points that we're going to do. And remember, this is totally off cuff. I never send questions to our guests or prep them on what we're going to talk about. This is always strictly off cuff, totally original, creative, so that I think that
It comes off more naturally.
Yeah, that's the appeal. So
Yeah.
that's what we are, but we're way over time. We usually do an hour. We didn't almost hit an hour and a half. Y'all like, man, would y'all shut up and go? So
I know.
let's get out of here. All right, y'all.
Thank
Peace.
you.
Peace.
Bye-bye.